What's up, guys? I'm back after my nice hiatus from uploading. I decided to return because I knew I had some content I had to post, and I still love the game, don't get me wrong. Shout out to the agency, man. The embroidered campaign is now finally finished. It did amazing. Thank you guys so much for showing love. Make sure you tweet at me pics when you get your hoodie, sweatshirt, whatever you got. I really want to see all that stuff, and again, thank you guys so much for the support. But I'm finally back, and here I have 3 tournament series. 3 of them. So we're gonna start off with this one: Smoke on Premier League Week 7, Blunder versus One True Lycan. So I was excited about this game because look how clever the title and thumbnail are. I know. That's why I was so excited to upload this, literally just because of the thumbnail title combo. I knew it was gonna be so powerful. But yes, I'm using Incineroar, my Super Smash character. I mean, this whole team is hilarious. I think it's pretty fun because it takes advantage of all the new stuff that came from Pokemon Home, mainly being Zero Aura, Incineroar, Clef has softball, stuff like that. Now, my team, my boy TDK made it for me. He is on my team. He's like my teammate, so he just built this for me. He said, go ahead and use this. It looked pretty good to me. I was thinking about using this or this Kyurem team. Kyurem probably would have been a strong pick because his team has no ice resist besides Toxapex, which dies to freeze dry. So, yeah, Specs Kyurem probably would have just destroyed him. But I have Conkeldurr, which is still a pretty good breaker. I mean, he's pretty well grounded. I mean, he's pretty well balanced versus Conkeldurr, just because he has Clef Fable, Brave Bird, Corviknight, Hippo, a Ghost type, and Dragapult, and he also has Pex. But I know just with Facade and Knockoff, I can still run off on him with that. Like, it doesn't matter if he has these pivots. I just gotta predict once or twice correctly. The rest of this team is pretty cool. We got default Corviknight, which is standard. We have heavy duty boots, Incineroar with Parting Shot, offensive Seismitoad with Stealth Rocket, has Earthquake and Power Whip and Liquidation. So looking at his team, it was a pretty standard team. I expected him to bring a team like this. Every week, he only brings Toxapex, Corviknight, and he always uses Dragapult. So he literally just brought what I expected. Like, yeah, like, or I mean, like, I don't know if expect is the right word. It's not like I knew 100% he was gonna bring this team, but I was not surprised he brought this team at all because like this is all he uses. All he uses is Corviknight, Toxapex, and Dragapult. Or like maybe he'll have Mandibuzz or something, because when I was looking at some of his games, I knew Zero Aura was going to be a weird pick here, and I probably could have ran Rotom Heat instead, which was an option. I just put Zero Aura because it's like the cooler one. It's Bulk Up, and Bulk Up Zero Aura and Nasty Plot Rotom Heat kind of would perform a similar role on this team. Rotom Heat was probably way better than Zero Aura, because as you see, he has Hippowdon, so it's pretty hard for Zero Aura to break. But other than that, this is a pretty long intro. Let's get right into it. So leads off with Pex, is I lead off with Incineroar straight off the bat. I figured Incineroar was the best lead because he's likely going to lead off with something that can take on a Seismitoad or Clef lead. So I expected him to lead off with Corviknight or Clefable himself, and I wanted my Incineroar to be able to go for a knockoff. He leads off with Toxapex. I just knock off turn 1, knowing that he's probably not going to go for a Toxic or anything like that. I get out of there and instantly go to my Clefable as he just goes for a Scald. Getting Clef poisoned is nice. I mean, it's not like he has anything that can start paralysis unless it's T-Wave Clef, but I doubt it with the oh fuck, my bad. I doubt it with the T-Spikes from Toxapex, why he would have T-Wave Clef. Anyway, I go into Corviknight here after firing off a Moonblast. I see that the Hippowdon is very specially defensive. I go for a defuck here as he brings in Dragapult. Okay. Now here, I obviously don't want to take a Will-O-Wisp or anything like that, so I switch right out and go to my Incineroar. I know he's either going to go for Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn, Hex, whatever the case is. Incineroar is the guy I want out for that reason. Back comes in Toxapex. Here I go for Taunt, knowing he's very well just going to go for T-Spike again, trying to get that momentum. Now I go into Seismitoad on the Scald, and I just go for an Earthquake to test the damage, because I know he's going to switch into Clef or Dragapult or whatever. It is 48%, which tells me this Clef is very, very specially defensive. Probably has no physical defense. Liquidation is 43 as he knocks me off, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fish for a crit. I don't really know what else to do. I mean, like, it's not that I didn't know what else to do. It was more so the fact that he showed knockoff, and I really did not want Corviknight to take a knockoff. Yeah, I really didn't want Corviknight to take a knockoff. I felt like it was going to be very important in this battle. It was going to need to defog many times, considering he has a Pex and Hippo, which can Stealth Rock and T-Spike on like every month. So I really knew that I needed to keep my Corviknight at a good level of HP, which is why I was like, okay, I really can't let that thing take a hit. Either way, he goes for counter there, which I did not expect, and he destroys my guy. I was thinking I'm just going to get the defense drop and eventually force him out into Corviknight, but that's not what happened. He has counter, which I think is like an anti-duck trio tech. That was a pretty cool tech, honestly. I didn't expect that. He kills Seismo. He takes the first kill of the game. I didn't think this was that big of a deal though, because again, even with max attack, Seismitoad, I don't think it can break Corviknight. It literally couldn't even beat this Clef unless I got lucky. And this Clef has no physical defense. So yeah, offensive Seismitoad's pretty weak, but I don't really like using defensive Seismitoad in tournament. I mean, that would have been just as bad, so it's not really like a big difference. But either way, I bring in Zero right here. Now, I know I'm going to bait in the Hip Out on here, so I pulled the immediate double into my Conch to activate my Flame Orb and all that good stuff. So I knew that was going to work out, so I was like, great. Now here, I go right for the Facade, I believe. I go right for the Facade as he brings in Clefable. I predicted him to go into Clef, which is why I did go for Facade rather than like knocking off or any of that bullshit. I know he knows that I know he's Spadaf Hippo because the Moonblast did 23. So whatever, if I went for Facade on Hippo, it would have taken way too much. It would have taken like 60%. He doesn't need to do that because if he takes damage with this, I'm going to sweep him instantly with Zero Aura. This thing has to be healthy. I know he's not going Dragapult either because, you know, the possibility of me going for knockoff as like the mid-ground play might come out. But that's exactly why I go right for Facade, because I was like, no, he's not bringing Dragapult in. I don't want to play any games with that Clef, and Clef's out the way immediately, which is nice. That thing is always annoying. So the Clef does take my Seismitoad, but I take it. So he goes into Dragapult here. He's just going to go for the U-turn. I'm going to Corviknight because I know U-turn or Hex is coming. I know he won't Wisp that turn as he goes into Toxapex again. And I'm like, damn, he really wants these T-Spikes up, which is fine. He doesn't really have too much offensive momentum to deal with Corviknight as I just bring in my Clef. This Clef is pretty funny. It's Teleport. So I go for Wish here as he goes for Scald. And now what Teleport is, it's a minus priority switch. So basically it always goes last. And it's basically like a pivot, right? It's basically like U-turn or Volt Switch or Baton Pass, and you bring in your Mon and it gets wished up to full. So here I have a new agency broken tech for you guys to spam on the ladder. This shit is broken. Conkeldurr comes in, takes advantage of the teleport. I go right for the knockoff, does 36%, good chip. Take its leftovers, that'll come into play later on. Now here I go right for the Facade because I was like, whatever, let's see how much it does. He goes into Corviknight. It does what, 34? Yeah, it does so much. Conk is so strong. Thing is though, I know Brave Bird could kill me at 70%. I don't want to take the chip. Maybe I could have Brave Birded looking Drain Punch looking back. Either way, he Brave Birds on the switch to my Corviknight and he crits me, which is whatever. I'm thinking this is offensive, like it's like bulk up or some bullshit. Just because Excadrill's likely to have the spin. I bring in Incineroar here, just to bluff with knockoff or something. I don't know. I just Parting Shot though, I think, or do I knock? Let's see. No, I just Parting Shot. You know me, addicted to the momentum. I don't want to bring in Hippo though. I mean Conkeldurr though. I don't want it to take Burn and a Sand Chip. I go back into Corviknight here, knowing he's gonna go for rocks. I have to defog this T-Spikes away anyway. As he brings in Toxapex again. This is kind of slow because the only way he's able to make momentum is bringing in Toxapex, but I can't even bring in a lot of my guys because Conk is low and everything. I Iron Hit here and I flinch him. I didn't Iron Hit to flinch him. I just Iron Hit it because I thought he clicked T-Spike and I wanted to sap one like the PP. But I just flinch instead as he does just set up a T-Spike. I swear he'd probably set up a T-Spike there. So I was just trying to stall out the shit. Corviknight comes in here. I Wish Up. Send it into my Incineroar, which has heavy duty boots. So obviously I don't care about T-Spike because he bulks up, which I was like, okay, but the thing is Incineroar loses to this like very heavily. It's knockoff, taunt, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, and Incineroar is extremely weak. So like I knew I lost to it, so I was like, okay, I need to hope he switches out. I knock off there, a Parting Shot out, probably bringing in the Clef yet again. The thing is, it's hard for me to wish correctly. Because with a T-Spike up, this Corviknight's a big ass threat because my main check, bulk up Zero Aura, will get T-Spiked and I don't have Aromatherapy. So I go into Incineroar here as he goes for a bulk up. Now here it gets dicey, right? No, he goes into Toxapex. I knock off yet again. A Parting Shot out. My Incineroar, is just kind of like pausing this thing for the time being. Don't know what his last move is. Could be sub or it could be taunt. He goes into Excadrillr here as I teleport out and bring in Corviknight. Okay, that was to get my free defog off, I think. I Iron Head here again, predicting the T-Spike. Yup. Then I U-turn out on Scald. Bring in Clef on I Wish. Oops, sorry. I teleport out again because I know Corviknight's coming in and I don't like the odds of that thing coming in. I go into Incineroar here. He bulks up. He's faster than me as I go for the Parting Shot just to drop his shit. I now bring in Corviknight. Yeah, he goes for the taunt. And yeah, he reveals the taunt as I try to defog. Because I was trying to defog just so I can go into Zero Aura next. But now I can't go into Zero Aura. I go back into Incineroar. And here's right. I realized I probably should have used taunt. I don't know, but I thought he would just taunt me because he's faster. He's at +2 defense, so I obviously can't touch him. And if he taunts me, I can't parting shot out. But I don't know. I just parting shot out anyway. And I bring back in Corviknight. Just kind of trying to do some PP stall action on this thing. This set is really tough for me while the T spikes up. I try to go for the defog again as he bulks up yet again. I just take that as an opportunity to U-turn back into my cat. And I'm like, okay, let's give him another -1. It bulks up again as I knock the leftovers now. Yeah. Corviknight taunts me. I just U-turn back into Incineroar. Here I see how much Brave Bird does, and I'm like, oh wow, it does a lot. U-turn out into Clef, just so I can pass a wish. No, I go back into Corviknight. I don't know why I did that. Oh, I expected the taunt. I think I was just trying to stall the PP. Bulk up, U-turn right out. He's just like stalling around. I know this is pretty boring. I'm bringing in Incineroar, bringing back in Corviknight, hoping he's going to misplay on a turn. Let's see. Now here he bulks up again because he's just like, whatever, I want the advantage. As I just U-turn out, bring that thing in. He Brave Bird's going for chip, bulks up again. I believe I defog finally. I defog because I was like, bet, now 0 or I can scare this thing out. Because even at +4 defense, I'm not really worried because Corviknight's really weak, right? It's not going to do any damage. I did the calc. I bring in Incineroar here just to, you know, drop his shit again. I bulk up. I just parting shot again. It didn't really make a difference. Oh, actually it did, right? Because he goes from +2 attack to... Yeah, I really don't know why he was so afraid to what's it called? He was so afraid to taunt my Incineroar all this time. Either way, I put him at 1.5 attack, and I get out of there, and I believe I bring in... Who? I bring back in Corviknight. I think I was just going for some PP stall stuff, but, like, whatever. I go back into Incineroar here just to bulk up. Yeah, he bulks up again. Oh, I misplayed that, actually. I should have gone to 0 aura when it was -1. Bulks up again as I U-turn out. Bring back in Corviknight. I know Brave Bird's coming, right? Yeah. I'm just trying to get rid of some PP the way I can. Because I know, like, I'm not, like, as long as I have 0 aura. So I actually misplayed this. Because I could have had this thing at, like, +1.5 attack. But I let it get to +2.5. Either way, I'm not worried. Because 0 aura doesn't take anything from this. I did the calc. It does, like, 26% with Brave Bird when I'm at +2 defense. So I know at +2, I'll be able to handle this thing. As he goes for a taunt this time. And I was like, great. Because Plasma Fist has a ton of PP. And I'm thinking, great. I can manage Corviknight. And then if I manage Corviknight, that's whatever. Because... if I kill this, his win conditions are all gone. Because Extrajo's not going to beat a team with Corviknight plus Conkeldurr. Not to mention the Hippo Spadef. So I can probably break through that thing way easy too. So I wasn't too worried at this point. I was like, okay, but go for Plasma Fist here. It is 34% and he has no leftover. So I know I'm winning this 1v1. But he crits me on the first Brave Bird. I was like, dude, no. I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. Because I thought, like, my 0 aura was ready to go. And that Braver did, like, 28%. And my Plasma Fist is doing 34. I have leftovers, too. He's forced to roost. I also have a ton of PP. And once the taunt wears off, I get another bulk up off. And he's maxed his defense. So at that point, he's going to lose. But, no, I go for CC there to try and crit him. Because I need a Plasma Fist crit anyways. And if he went to hit Powdown for some reason, then I'd be able to 2-hit KO that thing. But I had to go for the crit anyway. It goes for Roost here, as I just go for what? Another Plasma Fist here, but no dice. I cannot believe this dude crit the first one, and then I lose my 0 aura, which should have beat this Corviknight, and then I lose, because the rest of my guys just die. The rest of my guys can't kill this shit, so I just die. Flipblitz is like 10% here. Yeah, and so then everyone just dies, and I just forfeit. And then I was like, come on now. Yeah, that sucked, because, like, I'm pretty sure I won, like, really easily. This game, because I still had Wish Clef, Conkeldurr, which kills everybody. Wish Teleport gives me hella free switch-ins. 0 aura has a lot of really good matchup as well. I was like, come on now. Like, my Clef is even Spadef to take on the Dragapult. Like, I knew wait, no, Clef's Fizdef, I think, on this one. Either way, I don't actually, is it? I don't remember. I think it is, though. Either way, sucked, but, you know, that's just the game goes sometimes. You just have to hold that. I really wish he didn't crit me, like, on the one chance. Like, come on. Either way, that's the game. Sometimes you try to bring, you know, 2 furry Pokemon and you get punished for it. So I guess that's that. Anyways, this is a super feature because I have 2 other tournament series. Draft League. Okay, this is for the Draft Premier League. I don't remember what week it was, but if my team won this one, we were solidly first seed. I was coming off a 4-0, which is very nice in comparison to my SPL 3 and 4, which should be like 5-2, but whatever. Anyway, I'm playing Hiker Toad. Hiker Toad, this guy, my team told me he's like one of the good draft players. He's one of the better ones. I saw some video on YouTube where they ranked him the 10th best draft player. So I was like, what the fuck? I'm gonna destroy this guy. No, I'm just kidding. But I got this team from my team. They're called the Biberos. My captain, I think he's my captain. Draw 15 built this team. He said this is the one. I saw the sets on this. It was crazy. So in draft, as you guys know by now probably, you have to choose from like 8 or 9 or 10 Pokemon, whatever the case is. And then you basically know what your opponent's going to bring. So we basically knew what each other was going to bring. Like I expected him to bring all these guys. So I wasn't really too worried. And so my team is kind of curated for that. So the main like selling point of this team is the sub bulk up Grimmsnarl. It's really nice. It's EV'd nicely to outspeed Corviknight, and you can see sub bulk up as a really good matchup versus him with Darkest Lariat and Spirit Break. Darkest Lariat allows me to go through Curse Lax, right? So I knew Grimmsnarl was likely going to win this. I thought my matchup was fantastic going into this game. A lot of times in draft, I feel like the matchup is even, but here I felt like my matchup was like stupid good. Komodo is Iron Defense, Body Slam, Rest Talk, which 6-0s him if I kill Dusclops. Quagsire is also like some Rest Haze stuff, which I think is just to beat Snorlax, just designated wall. Grimmsnarl is again the win con. Hippo, just a tank, Stealth Rock support. Raichu, Nasty Plot, Electro Ball, again, beast idea because it lets me get through Snorlax and Dusclops. My man Draw 15 was really building the GOAT team. And then the Life Orb, Sigilyph with Heat Wave, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, just to be a little annoying. Switching to status, he has some bulk Pokemon. In general, I knew this team was like really good versus him. Like I knew my matchup. Like when I saw my matchup, I was like, dude, I'm gonna win, because it looked really good. I just had to not play stupid. But okay, I lead off with Komodo as he leads off with Rotom Heat. I'm Rotom Cut. He misses Wisp turn 1, which sucks for him as I just go for the Body Press. Yeah, I just want to see the damage. I see that he's a little bit defensive judging by that. Now here I go hard into Sigilyph, knowing he's gonna Wisp again. I mean he could have Volt Switched, but I was pretty sure he wasn't going to. Will-O-Wisp was hella free. And me going to Sigilyph was a pretty crazy play. I don't think he was going to expect. Either way, I could live Volt Switch, and so I wasn't worried. I also knew I got free Roosts on Dusclops and Corviknight, so like the risk here wasn't as much as it might seem. Anyway, I switch out here and bring in my Hippowdon because I know he's going to switch out of there expecting Heat Wave, and I know Lax is coming in. So I make these aggressive plays off the rip just so I can get the Stealth Rock up, and that worked out pretty great for me. Something to keep in mind is that his Seismitoad does not have leftovers, which I noticed immediately. He brings in Seismitoad here as I bring in the Sigilyph. He goes for Rocks. I expected Rocks, so I just wanted my Sigilyph in because I realized with the Rocks up, Sigilyph possesses quite the threat. Psyshock does a nice 37. I don't know if the roll can get up to 39%, but I'm not about to risk that and find out. So I go into my Hippowdons and he just goes for Body Slam. Does 19%, so it looks like this Lax is not a threat whatsoever. He goes into Corviknight as I just rolling that thing out, and I believe I pull what? Rotom? Yup, I pull Rotom. So there's that. I go into my Komodo here because I don't want to risk the Volt Switch on my Sigilyph. It's pretty obvious he's just going to go for Volt Switch, as he does just do that, and in comes Grimmsnarl. Now, his Grimmsnarl is also a threat, because if you guys don't know this, Grimmsnarl gets Power Whip. So the EV spread on this Hippo is EV to live 2 Power Whips at max HP. I didn't think he'd Power Whip on the Switch either, but he just goes for the bulk up, which, you know, makes sense. So here I was like, okay, let's see what he wants to do. I'm whirlwinding this out. Hopefully it's not Taunt. And he's not Taunt, but he has Power Whip, which again is obvious because, you know, bulk up Grimmsnarl needs to be able to get rid of Unaware, Quagsire, and Hippo. I get lucky here. I whirlwind him into Hippo. Into Snorlax. So I wasn't sure if Snorlax is gonna be faster than me or not. Oops. Sorry. I wasn't sure if Snorlax is gonna be faster than me or not, but I go for Slack Off anyway as he switches into his Seismitoad. Now here I see this thing is itemless too. Either way, I know like 500% he's not going for what's it called? I know 500% he's probably just going to either predict the Sigilyph or he's just going to go fire off a Scald, and either way I don't want to do that. I don't want to go into Sigilyph on Scald because I don't want Sigilyph to be forced into a situation where I have to Roost. And I also don't know his Seismitoad. What if it's Gastro Acid or some shit? Komodo is good on this team because even though it's walled by Dusclops, it walls like all of his guys except for Grimmsnarl and Corviknight. So that's pretty nice. He goes for Toxic. It's still itemless. I think it's like, I wasn't sure what I thought it was. Maybe like Rindo Berry or some bullshit. But I body press into Dusclops, and I was like, okay, whatever. I think I switch here. I switch here and go into Sigilyph as he goes into Rotom Mo. This works out for me because, you know, I'm on top here. He goes to Dusclops on my Heat Wave. I did just go for Heat Wave, does 21%. Go for Psyshock here, which does 24%, as this Dusclops goes for Rest, which, you know, was quite obvious. My team even told me, they're like, it's going to be Rest Dusclops, you know. instead of pain split most likely. So I keep going for side shock here, just trying to, you know, force him into some kind of rest loop where I come out on top. I don't really know. Problem is he has pressure, so I'm losing some valuable PP, and my Sigalef is very good versus his team. But either way, I'm in such a commanding spot. I'm not really worried, like, at all, because there's like nothing he can do. We've already seen that a lot of these guys have defensive sets. This Snorlax is at 9% after rocks and has not done anything. Grimmsnarl's at 70%. That's the only immediate threat, but even that thing I can manage, so I'm not too worried. I just have to be smart. Anyway, a Nightshade into Komodo, I rest up, and now I start sleep talking, iron defenses and shit. Because I'm like, okay, I don't want to go into any of my other guys because Dusclops kind of deals with them, and I also don't want to take Chip. I'm also not risking my Grimmsnarl's HP for no reason. Yeah, he doesn't have Will-O-Wisp, but what's the point of staying in on Nightshade? That's counterproductive. And the point of this Grimmsnarl is to set up on Dusclops. So I rest up here. Blah, blah, blah. Switch into Hippo because I was like, wait a minute. He only has Nightshade and Haze. I should at least use this as an opportunity to heal up my Hippo. And I'm thinking, if I heal up my Hippo to max HP, then the next time Grimmsnarl comes in and even attempts that bulk up shit, I can just get it out there. He taunts though. Good play. And here I was like, okay, taunt defog or taunt bulk up? What's he most likely to be? So I go into Sigalef because it covers both options, as he does just go for a Brave Bird. That's 52%, which is fine because that's the freest roost of my life. As in comes Dusclops. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I roost up. Sigalef, like I said, big nuisance for him. A Heat Wave here just to go for some chip, forcing the rest loop. That's really all about it. Do I go for it here? No, I roost this turn as he goes for the rest. Yeah. He's wasted 3 rests, but it doesn't really matter. He still has 13. In comes Hippo because, like I said, this thing just hard walls him. Just hard walls him to death. Haze right there. Okay, okay. Yeah, so we're still at 6-6. 2 pretty long games this week, guys. Sleep Talk, Nightshade pulls it out, 23%. I believe I just go for a slack off, or yeah, a slack off, because I'm like, I might as well keep this guy at full HP, as he just goes for a rest again. And I've never wanted him to be at a low HP, because he's obviously very scared of Sigalef. But now here I'm like, okay, let me whirlwind as he pulls a rest, which is great. I keep my Hippo at 100%. In comes Seismitoad. Now here I knew very well that he was going to go for the ground move and not the water move, or he was going to switch. At this point, I still didn't know the item on this thing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, Sigalef can come in or Komodo could come in. Either way, he's not going for a water move. It's too obvious. So I go for the Earthquake because I realized it was going to be free chip, as he does just try to go for his own Earthquake. So I get some good chip on that. It's in body range now, probably +1 range now from Grimmsnarl, and also Psyshock range from Sigalef. So I'll take all that. He goes into Corviknight here as I double, right, into Sigalef. Oh, beast play. I mean, I just expected him to attack again, but the water move, double into Grimmsnarl, because now here I'm finally like, okay, it's been 39 turns. It's time to get my Grimmsnarl started. I know he's going to switch on a Heat Wave and bringing that Dusclops, so I'm like, finally Grimmsnarl's in. I can start, you know, doing some damage. I set up a sub here as he goes into his Corviknight. Yeah, I'm going to put this on fast because this shit's kind of stally. I'm faster than him. I'll go for the bulk up, which is great, as he goes for the Brave Bird. And it doesn't even break my sub, which is hilarious. I was like, oh, you're done. I have to bulk up again. I get that +2/+2, and I'm like, whoa, I'm ready to go. He goes for taunt. I'm like, okay, whatever. I go for Darkest Lariat, expecting it to do a ton, but it does like 41%. And then I realize, oh shit, this doesn't have a lot of PP, and he has pressure. So I have to play smart. So Darkest Lariat again. I do 39% as he goes for Roost. Now here's, I think, where I realized, oh dude, I need these, because I do. So I start going for Spirit Break because that's my useless move. It only hits Grimmsnarl anyway. So I spam that a little bit just so I can get all my bulk ups up, all that good stuff. I bulk up again because, like I said, I need the max attack to be able to break Corviknight. A Spirit Break here, expecting the Roost as he goes for the Brave Bird, actually. Okay, but let's see. A Spirit Break again, expecting the Roost this time, right? I'm just trying to get myself in a position where I 2-KO this guy, where he goes for a Brave Bird on the turn that I go for Darkest Lariat. That way I scare it out and keep it at a low amount of HP, but I know he's likely to spam Roost at this point. Now this turn, I go for bulk up again. Yup, because I need my +3/+3. He taunts yet again. Here I go for Darkest Lariat. That's 56 as he goes for Brave Bird. So now I'm at a good position because he just threw out his Corviknight. He goes to Lax and sacks it as I just Darkest Lariat again. Get that shit out of there. In comes Rotom Mo. Now, I don't want to stay in. I'm taunted. Otherwise, I would have just subbed, obviously. But I can't make that play. I have to switch out. I can't take the burn. I need this thing. It's amazing versus this team. You saw the way it forced the kill there. Every time it comes in, it forces the kill. Here, I don't want to take any sorts of... I don't want to take any defensive route that allows Corviknight to heal up whatsoever. So, I go running to Sigalef. I know Wisp is coming 100%. No Volt Switch is coming out. There's no way he was going to make that play. I knew he wasn't going to make that play. That was a big play to make, and it would have lost him the game if he Volt switched there, as I just Darkest Lariat again. So I go into Sigalith. Again, I love Volt switch, so it's not as risky as it might look. Bringing the Grimmsnarl here on another double as he goes back into Dusclops, because I know the Dusclops coming back in. I want to give him no types of momentum. I want to close this out as fast as I can. I said back to business. I bring this thing back in. I bulk up hard on the switch as he brings in his Grim. I see I'm faster. Actually, I don't see I'm faster. I just hope I'm faster. And I kill that thing with Spirit Break. And at this point, it looks really bad for him. I switch out yet again as he Wisps, and I go right back into Sigalith. Because I expect a Leaf Storm or the Wisp. Nothing more, nothing less. Dusclops comes back in as I just go for the Side Shock. I switched enough to where Dusclops did not get to burn off both of his turns. And at this point, Sigalith is going to do the dash on him. That's it's over. So he brings the Seismitoad. He's faster. So he reveals he's Scarf, Rocks, Toxic, Physical. I don't understand why he was this. I think I had Salazzle as an option, which is why. And maybe also to catch Raichu. But I don't know. I don't think it was a good pick. If I was him, I would have just picked like Specs. I would have just won with Earth Power and Hydro Pump probably. Either way, Rotom comes in. I kill that thing too. Corviknight comes in, and I killed that thing last. And so 63 turn game, 6-0. So I was happy to win this one. I'm 5-0 in the draft league now. I got the best record in the tournament. They said I couldn't do draft. They said I couldn't do it. All my haters, all my draft haters. I got it coming for any draft player in the league. There was one guy talking big shit, but then when he challenged me, he was too scared after that. He challenged me and then he got too scared. So, that's how it goes. But that was that series. Both of my teams in SPL and Draft Premier League are primed to make playoffs. We're first seed in Draft Premier League, so we're a lock. And then in SPL, we're second place. So we just need to win like one more, I think, and we're a lock. So I'm going to playoffs on both of these most likely. But yeah, here we have OST Round 3. These games are pretty interesting. So I figured I'd upload them. Yeah, it's just my round 3. I played the first day using this team my boy Anti gave me. It's like a similar version to the Incineroar Zero Aura team I ran, but it's got like Pex and shit. Fast game though. I go for Rocks. He brings in his Clef. In comes Toxic Specs as he goes into Rotom Wash. I didn't really think about these games too much. I just loaded up 2 OU teams and challenged this guy. This is for Smogon's official Smogon tournament. It's like their biggest singles tournament. It's just best of 3 single elimination. I made finals of this like 5 years ago, but I lost the finals. That was the White Queen shit with Baton Pass. So I play this every year. It's pretty fun. Hopefully, maybe I can get back there. But I don't really care too much. This isn't really a tournament that I like prepare for, look at my opponent's replays or anything like that. I just bring 3 teams and go for it. Anyway, back to the game. So it's pretty straightforward so far. His team is pretty similar to mine too. We share 4 of the same 6. Plasma Fist on the switch to Komodo as I just get up Rocks on the switch to Clefable. No, I go into H-Slash, predicting play rough. He goes into Clef. I go for Flash Cannon. He stays in. He just dies. I'm Metronome. I'm not Specs. So if he was like Spadef Flamethrower, he probably lived that. So that sucks. Anyway, in comes H-Slash. I go into Komodo because I got that bulletproof on me. Shadow Ball's not doing no types of damage. So that worked out pretty well for me. He goes into Rotom Wash shares. I just go for what? Earthquake? Yup. I go for Earthquake in case he decides to stay in. I figured I might as well get my like 80% chip. Go for Rock series. He just Volt switches out. Defensive Komodo destroys his whole team. So, he's in a pretty bad situation from what I can see. He sacked Clef instantly, so obviously Komodo was going to be a big threat after that. Earthquake Body Press just kills everything. So, I go into Clef on the Draco Meteor as he brings in Aegislash. I go for the Aromatherapy there just because I want to heal Toxic Specs up to T-Wave. That way I can check stuff like Aegislash later on. He doubles into Zero Aura, which is a good play, but I just go for the Toxic, knowing that I can take a Plasma Fist because I'm physically defensive. And oftentimes this is a great trade. If you have Toxic Specs in front of Zero Aura, like they have Zero Aura, it's oftentimes a great trade to just go for Toxic because Plasma Fist doesn't kill and you can put this thing on a timer. He goes into Hydreigon here as I believe I just recover, yeah. I switch out of there, going to my Clefable as he goes for a Draco yet again, which led me to believe he was Scarf or Specs. I wasn't quite sure why he Dracoed. I go for the Moonblast there as he brings in Aegislash. Again, I go into Pex because I want that perfect pivot. Flash Cannons, it does 30%, which means Shadow Ball would do around 60%. Rotom Wash comes in. Knock off that thing, just get a little more chip. Switch out of there and bring in Zero Aura because it covers everything. Defog, Volt Switch, and Pain Split. So that's why I did that. Now I go for a knockoff just to kill him. If he wants to pivot into Komodo, that thing's going to get its leftovers knocked off. I bring in Clef here as he just gets up his Stealth Rock. And then what do? Moonblast just again? No, I wish. I go for the Wish Pass because I can bring in Corviknight. I am Spadef, so Shadow Ball won't do enough. And I can just U-turn out afterwards. But he gets the crit special defense drop. He gets the whole bag. So I was like, okay, time to get out of there. Otherwise, I was just going to be back at 100 and just U-turn out into Komodo. Safe and sound. Here I just have to hard switch out. It's not a big deal. Corviknight is down to like 50, but it's not like that thing is going to be that great versus the rest of his team anyway. Body press on the switch disc. Come on, we got 2 of these guys just body pressing, just looking menacing. I go for Rocks here as he Dragon Tails me out for 30%. In comes Aegis Slash. I believe I switch. I do, because I can't kill it, and I don't want to take an Earthquake and die. Yeah, so no point in me staying in. Bringing Clef here. It's got an amazing matchup. Aegis Slash comes in as I just try to pass another Wish, I think. Yep. Who'd I pass it to? I feel like I passed to Pex. I got to. As he goes right for the Shadow Ball yet again to 61%. So much damage. But Pex is all the way back to full HP, so I just go right back into my boy Komodo. And we're going safe and sound from there. So, what do I do? Do I body press or do I iron defense? I think I body iron defense. Bet. Iron defense as he brings in Komodo, so now I can go for that boosted body press, that juicy hit. I do 49% as he misses his Dragon Tail, because I guess when you iron defense, you also boost your evasion or some bullshit. Because look, he goes for protect here. I'm just getting leftovers back. Yeah, I'm sorry. Too annoying. Komodo is the most annoying mon in this metagame. You just like wall everything. He misses Dragon Tail again, which just sucks for him. But honestly, I feel like he was just prolonging his inevitable loss, and I got rid of Komodo early on instead, because Zero Aura was primed to win. I feel like there was no way he could have won. He goes into Hydreigon here. I switch out of there and bring Clef because I still want to keep that for Zero. He goes for Flash Cannon there, which confused me because he's Life Orb. So he should have nasty plotted that turn when it was Pex versus Hydreigon instead of Dracoing into my Clef. Because if he nasty plotted, he could have been in a great spot. Either way, Clef is useless. Doesn't beat Zero Aura. Doesn't beat Aegis Slash. So I just sack it to Moonblast this thing. He sacks that, and at this point it's over because he kills me here. And then Komodo just sweeps. And that's that. So, come out on top there. Pretty easy 5-0. Let's go to the next game. Alright, I'm using my boy Star Master's team. There's some double ice stuff. Crazy team. It looked really fun. He loves Mamoswine. Me too. I love ice types in general. So this team is cool. That's basically all I gotta say. This guy brought an offense. It's making use of Bisharp and Keldeo. You know, things that got benefited from Pokemon Home. I lit off of Kyurem. I'm like, bet I'm a Draco Meteor this turn 1. He vote switches out, so I was like, damn it. He's definitely gonna bring in Ferrothorn or Clef here. But no, he brings in Keldeo and dies, which is hilarious. I don't know why he did that. That was like the biggest turn on his team. He just sacked it. Goes into Bisharp here as I bring in Corviknight because I'm body press because this team is weak to Excadrill and Bisharp. He SDs. He goes for knockoff, which I'm able to tank, and then I body press and knock him out. So the 2 biggest threats are gone immediately. At this point, I was like, okay, the series is over. I knew I had like won, honestly, because he just sacked his 2 biggest threats in 3 turns. Like I don't know what else he was gonna do, but at this point, it's pretty hard for him to find a specific handle on this game. He goes into Gengar. I have knockoff too, so it's like that thing's gonna take a lot as well and lose the leftovers. He goes into Ferrothorn here as I'll go into Hydreigon there expecting him to Will-O-Wisp or Nasty Plot. I'm Scarf Hydreigon. U-turn out of there, bring in my Banded Mammo here. Banded Mammo plus Specs Kyurem. Epic core. Switches out into Rotom Heat as I go for the Banded Ice Crash. 50%. Nice hit. Switch out of there, bring in Toxapex as he overheats. He is Scarf as he showed from turn 1, so that's like the worst that he could have had here. Goes into Ferrothorn as I just double into Corviknight because I want my free recovery on Ferrothorn. I don't know why, this didn't even make sense. But I thought that this would be good for me just to like make sure I can defog. I don't know. I just body press, get leech seeded, and go down to like 43% or something, right? Yeah, I go down to like 43%, so that doesn't really help me. I switch out of there and bring in Toxapex as he just doubles back into Rotom Heat. Like we said before, he's Scarf, which means he possesses no immediate threat to Toxapex. I just go for Scald. I don't do any types of damage though. 11%, no burn, so it's not really useful. I think I knock off at this point, right? Oh, he goes into Clef. Gets knocked off. I figured I'd knock off Ferrothorn's thing so I can just Ice Beam. I mean, soon I can just Ice Beam and Ice Crash everyone. It's just a matter of being patient. I can't lose, so I don't know why I'd be impatient. Even going to Mamoswine there is impatient. Goes into Ferrothorn, gets Crip Ice Crash. It probably wasn't even into a KO. Maybe it was, but I think the rolls were in his favor if I'm being honest. He goes into Rotom Heat here. I know I live Overheat because of Thick Fast, so I'm like, let's just get on with this. I got shit to do. I killed that thing with 2 Ice Crashes. This thing died to 2 Ice Crashes. One did 50 and the other did 50. Insane. In comes Gengar. Hard switch into Pex. Even though it's physically defensive, it can take any +2 hit. I'm not worried about shit. Yeah, 28%, so it's whatever. I believe I hard switch into Hydreigon here. Or no, I knock off, right? I just knock off as Clef comes in. Switch out and bring up my own Clef. Because I have like what? I don't know why I brought my own Clef in. To Wish Pass? I go hard Corviknight on Thunder Wave, right? Is that what I do? Oh, he goes Gengar. Okay, interesting. I go Hydreigon here on sub or nasty or you sub or nasty plot, yeah, because I know that I can just sack Hydreigon to Dark Pulse and still be okay. He nasty plots, I just kill him with Scarf Dark Pulse, and that's a wrap at this point. I think he just forfeits because he knows Clef can't beat any of the rest of my guys. Bringing Toxapex, he just forfeits, and that's going to be the series. So, hope you guys enjoyed these 3 tournament series. I had a blast recording these. Pretty sizable upload too, 35 minutes. Unfortunately, my Super Smash character didn't shine, but I shined in the other 2 series. So, hope y'all enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. Peace.